Hello, today is the birthday of George Clooney, who I'm sure needs no introduction, and I'm sure you'll probably also know that he married Amal, a human rights lawyer, back in 2014. They now have twins and, to all intents and purposes, very happily married. Some have argued that they don't look like it because they obviously spend a lot of time apart, each doing their own, following their own particular profession, and no doubt both of their professions involve being away for extended periods. But George Clooney, in an interview recently, was asked if this put pressure on his relationship with her, and he said no, they were firmly together, and what's more, he said, we haven't had an argument in the whole of our married life. Well, this raised some eyebrows. Some people responded by saying, well, what do you need to argue about? They've clearly got plenty of money. They no doubt have people looking after the twins and someone to do all the household jobs. What's left to row about? Well, I suspect if they wanted to find something, they would. But for those of us who are less well off, and I think certainly if you're really hard up and life is really stressful, then arguments are much more likely to happen because you're responding not only to the stress of the relationship but to the wider stress as well. And so, a lot of us do find that we get into rows with the people that we live with, however much we love them, and sometimes this is a destructive thing. It doesn't help, and so I think it's quite important to follow some rules about arguing. One of them is not to try to win, to see an argument as an attempt to find out a better way of doing things or to learn how better to understand the other person. Another is perhaps to choose the time and the place, not to raise a difficult issue when there's something else that's being stressed about anyway, or perhaps to choose a place to have a difficult conversation, maybe in a pub or something, where there's a strong incentive to keep calm. Then there's the rules about what you say, and I think to say you always do so and so it doesn't help. It needs to be more specific than that. And another phrase that we sometimes, you make me feel angry, should really be rephrased, I am feeling angry because. There are various rules that we can follow, and you will have plenty to add to that list. But I think if we follow them, then having arguments can move us forward in a relationship. It can help us to understand our partner better. What's difficult is when the same arguments are repeated over and over again, and then I think it's important to look and see just why, what is going on here, what lies behind the repetitive nature of these issues that keep coming up between you and your partner. Because once we can solve the root cause of the dissension, then I think the dissension is much less likely to happen, or if it does, is much more likely to end up in a creative way. So we're thinking about arguing and having rows, and whether it, in our particular situation, is a creative thing or a destructive thing, and if it's destructive, worth trying to work out what can we do about it.